Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your Jupiter special. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. In July of 2014 and until August of 2015, Jupiter will be moving through the sign of Leo. Now, wherever Jupiter goes, so go our biggest and brightest blessings. Jupiter moves through a sign about once every year or so, and during that time brings expansion, opportunity, luck, new perspectives, new people, and just an overall feeling of faith that things really can get better. And it's largely because of that faith that things very often do. It'll be a really exciting time, a really exciting year as Jupiter moves through the sign of Leo. I have created a separate introduction video to talk about Jupiter moving through Leo for our collective experience. So please click on your screen, have a look at that as well. And how Jupiter speaks to you in your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Taurus. Thank you for being here. Well, Jupiter's move into the sign of Leo for you begins a very important cycle, and one that is going to lead you to ask yourself some really important questions, and the answers of which will lead you to start putting into place the things you need to actually strengthen your foundation. Now, as solid as you are, where you stand determines how high it is ultimately that you are going to go, especially where you look at your life, where you look at what it is ultimately that you allow yourself to aim for, what you allow yourself to dream for, what you allow yourself to work towards. And the things that you put into place right now, emotionally speaking, absolutely, but practically speaking as well, will reap their fullest fruit 6 years down the road. And so this does mark a very important turning point for you and a very important beginning for you in some sense, where you come to understand exactly what it is that you need to put into place if you want to manifest some of those larger dreams that you have for your life. Now, there is, as I said, an element here that is very emotional. And what that means is you're going to be asked to look at how comfortable do you feel with yourself, in the world, and with your home as well. Are there any issues of the past that you need to resolve, that you need to forgive, that you need to heal as well? And this also goes to an element of your relationship with your family. And so let me start with this element of feeling comfortable, feeling safe. Now, that is, of course, an element of where you live. And so some of you, I think, are going to find really positive improvements take place in the level of home. In fact, I do think that given that Jupiter will be having key conversations with Uranus throughout this coming year, throughout his coming time in the sign of Leo, we'll be speaking with Uranus moving through Aries right now. I look at this particular conversation and it suggests to me that you will be coming to understand exactly what it is that you need to be surrounded by, what your fortress of solitude needs to be if you are going to have that safe space from which to go out into the world. I think a lot of you out there are going to move, and a lot of you out there are going to find the perfect place to live that feels right for this next phase and for what it is that you're trying to build over the coming years to come. And I do think that a lot of you out there actually are likely to find some sort of inspiration that leads you to start a business even that could be very home related as well, because it does seem like some of your greatest blessings are going to be on the home front. And so if you've been trying to sell, this is a year when you could get a really great deal that makes it very clear that you are indeed ready to move on. If you've been trying to buy, you could also get an amazing deal. If you've just been trying to move, you have lots of cosmic support to find the perfect place. But then there's an element here, of course, whether you're redecorating where you are, regardless of where you physically end up going. There's an element here also of you having certain people in your sphere as well, whether you've got roommates or people in your family that you live with, or even that you don't live with. It looks like there's a strong element of karma. Now, I do think if you're actually sharing a space, living with somebody, chances are there's some karma being worked out there between the two of you. but it should become really obvious where there's almost an instant connection or an instant understanding of what it is that you're learning here. And so you can expect some really strong karmic contracts to become fulfilled, really, where it comes to not only the people who enter your sphere, who you live with in terms of roommate situations, but also in terms of family as well, where you're likely to see some changes, or at least if it is members of your family, which are part of your life always, you are likely to have a deeper appreciation of the deeper learning on a spiritual level that's taking place here. But of course, there's also an element of feeling at home in your own body, in your own skin. And that really is at the root of just about everything that we end up doing in the world. We need to come at the world from a place of being comfortable, having a level of self-acceptance, having a level of safety within us, self-approval within us, to know that we can take risks, we can take chances, we can put ourselves out there if we're going to reap any kind of reward that would come as a result of doing that. And so you get lots of opportunities to do that work that eventually will allow you to go forward in bigger ways. And I think also, as I said, there's an appreciation now of how high you wish to go and what it is that you need to put into place in order to allow yourself to reach that place. And I think a lot of people, it's going to be about being on your own, being at home, putting in hours towards a venture or towards an activity that matters to you most, something that is genuinely fun for you, something that is relaxing for you, and really seeing the potential that it has to bring you success a little bit later on into the future as well. And as I said, I think that there's an element here of family and past and parents especially, and there's an overall feeling of wellness, of good news, of being blessed by these people as well. And so if there's any forgiveness that needs to happen, then you will get those chances to do so, and you'll feel liberated as a result. But also, I think also you'll find that there's a tremendous amount of support and also respect for who it is that you've become that comes along for you from parents, and where maybe you might have felt that people were being critical of you in the past. There's going to be this balm of just healing and hope and real progress and a sense of understanding that starts to set in that should heal even some of the most complicated relationships and allow a sense of connection, allow a sense of reunion to take place. If there are people away from your past, you can expect those people to come up around this time. And in love and in romance, if there are any people with whom you still have sort of some final conversations to have, unresolved karmic things that need to be worked out, you can expect these people to come out for that reason. And what I mean by come out is sort of appear in your life, rather by surprise, I think, for that very reason, for you to understand what it is that has been so that you can clear that space and move forward from there. Keep in mind also that Saturn will be moving, continue to move throughout this year, swimming back and forth between your opposite sign, your opposite sign, Scorpio, and the sign of Sagittarius. And so he'll be swimming in and out of the sign of Scorpio, which is your opposite sign, which speaks to love. This would be a good time to watch your your Saturn special again in the sign of Scorpio. And I do think, as I look at this particular placement and the fact that Jupiter will have a conversation with Saturn in your opposite sign in August of 2015, I look at this particular conversation playing out, and it does suggest to me that there is going to be an element of you asking yourself, does this person make me feel safe? Does this person make me feel secure? Do I feel comfortable with this person? Have I actually built something where I feel at home with this person or not? And I think that's going to be a really important moment for a lot of Taurians out there, where they really get clear about who it is that they are with, what type of relationships it is that they have been working on, whether you're attached or not, whether you're single or have somebody in your sphere. There's going to be a deeper understanding as to what role actually living with somebody and sharing moments, what role that is going to play in your understanding of partnership and love as well. And this does represent an important turning point for a lot of you out there, where you start to understand that it really is about feeling safe and completely accepted by this other person that determines the future and how much further you want to go as you develop a greater sense of self-acceptance. That must be reflected in your relationship, and if it is, then that bond will only be made stronger. Regardless of where you are right now in the context of your life, you can expect to receive new insights as to what it is you need to make your ground strong. And as you work on that, you set a foundation that you will build on for years to come, and that will reap in the fullness of time some of the most beautiful fruit you ever thought you could produce.